A couple of years ago, John and Carolyn composed a song especially for this occasion, The Tally Boy. One of the renowned figures in the story of the Hartley disaster was a young boy, the Tally Boy, who was the person with the responsibility for identifying the bodies of the miners as they were brought to bank. Imagine what a job that was. And now for some tunes and songs, please welcome John and Caroline Bushby.
Okay, we weren't going to start off with this, but we will. We'll start off with the Tally Boy. And we're not going to do all Northeast mining songs, far from it. We just this one, and then a song from Australia, and something that's got nothing to do with mining, a Robbie Burns song, just to sort of lighten the load a little bit. Because I was talking with Christine, this probably 2009, I think it was, 2008, and she mentioned this photo of a Tally Boy that was found in the mining museum. She said someone should write a song about him, and like an idiot, I said, I'll have a crack at it.
He was only 12, and his job.
I'm only 12. I'm not old enough.
The Tally Boy was only 12, and his job, all the miners had numbered tokens, and they'd give them to him before they went down the pit. And when they came back up, he gave them back their token, and that way, if there was a disaster, they knew who was down the pit and who to look for. But in this case, there wasn't much point. Anyway, it's got an easy chorus. Please join in.
In the photo faded brown, see the young boy standing there. Who can tell what he was thinking, standing at the head there? Just a lad among the men, forced to wipe away their tears, took the tallies from the miners on that cold and bitter day. Little dreamt he on that morning, as Hartley men all left their homes, when he bade them all good morning, never knew they'd ne'er return. The Heston they walked together, fathers, sons, and men and boys, 41 the big man's wages, for their mothers, wives, and bairns, husbands, fathers, sons, and brothers, numbered off as they went down. The Tally Boy, he kept the record, gave back the tokens as they returned. There among them was this young lad, all but just 12 years of age, to take the tallies from the miners as they stepped into the cage. 100 fathoms deep they went, the miners worked the low main seam, on that fateful January day. Engine beam it broke away. Husbands, fathers, sons, and brothers, numbered off as they went down. The Tally Boy, he kept the record, gave back the tokens as they returned. The ship was riding up in the cage when the beam had fell, took with them the cage and apparatus, still their them in that bit of hell. 104 boys and men, 2 days and nights they fought to free them. At the bank the young lad waited, with the tallies in his hand. Husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, numbered off as they went down. The tally boy, he kept the record, gave back the tokens as they returned. To count them in as they were carried from the pit on Sunday nights, the lad of 12 was there to meet them, to account for all the dead. How he felt we can but wonder, amongst the tears and the anguish arise, all the wives and families grieving on the cold and bitter day. Husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, numbered off as they went down. The tally boy, he kept the record, gave back the tokens as they returned. Of that day we still remember, when the beaded broke away. But what of that young boy who stands there in the fading photograph, standing at that pit of shame? Who is he and what's his name? Who he was we cannot tell, but some folks say he was Mark Bell. Husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, numbered off as they went down. The tally boy, he kept the record, gave back the tokens as they returned. In the photo faded brown, see the young boy standing there. Who can tell what he was thinking, standing at the pit there, standing at that pit of shame? Who was he and what's his name? Who he was we cannot tell. Some folks say he was Mark Bell. Husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, numbered off as they went down. The tally boy, he kept the record, gave back the tokens as they returned. Husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, numbered off as they went down. The tally boy, he kept the record, gave back their tokens as they returned. Husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, husbands, fathers, sons and brothers, numbered off as they went down. Thank you very much, Miss. That was a new
That last
arrangement.
note was not with a bang but a whimper.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That was a new arrangement late this afternoon. Hey, never mind.
The MC, whose name escapes me at the moment, I'm sorry, but the gentleman who gave us such a lovely introduction mentioned that we've been interested in music from the Northeast for a long time, and this is true. You can probably tell from our accents that we're not from around here. We hail from Tasmania in Australia. Now, I'm originally from Cornwall, and some of my forebears were tin miners in Cornwall. But we've been playing music from Northumberland for 40 years, 30 years, and we've always had a great interest in it. And this is a song we used to sing back home. It's an Australian one written by one of Australia's best loved poets, a lady called Dorothy Hewitt. But it mentions mining in it because it mentions BHP, which is a huge mining conglomerate called Broken Hill Proprietary Limited. And then it got taken over by the Yanks, I think, and it's now BHP Billiton. So, anyway.
And it's a song
that's about...
Sorry.
Sorry.
You keep
it's
going.
about how the rich...
You talk away, you just yak away.
The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And nothing much has changed, has it?
No. I was going to say that. I was going to say that it's still very appropriate today.
Yeah.
And those who think the economic thing is getting better,
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
I don't think we've said anything yet. And once again, please join in the chorus. The words are, for dull bread's bitter bread and sour. There's grief in the taste of it. There's weevils in the flour. It's a really cheery little number.
Watch the last chorus because the words change slightly. So just to keep you on your toes. Thank you very much.
We'll do you a song now that's got absolutely no relation to mining at all. It's a Scottish love song, the happy one, which is nice.
It's a version of, oops, sorry microphone. It's a song called Dainty Davy, and there's lots of different versions of it, and this one is the words by Robbie Burns. There's also got a chorus you can join in with. Caroline might be able to tell it to you while I live on these things.
Yes, the words to the chorus are "Meet me on the Warlock now." That is the Wizard's Hill, I suppose. Dainty Davy, there I'll spend the day with you, my ain dear Dainty Davy. So if in doubt, just sing Dainty Davy.
I suppose it's got a slight connection with mining because it mentions Davy and there's a Davy lamp. So it's
That's stretching creativity a bit. Clutching at straws.
Are we in tune?
I don't know.
I'm near enough, it's folk music.
Not really. Now Rosie May comes in with flowers to deck her gay green spreading bowers, and now comes in my happy hours to wander where my day be. Meet me on the Warlock now, dainty Davy, dainty Davy, there I'll spend the day with you, my own dear dainty Davy. When purple morning starts the hair to steal upon his early fare, then through the dews I will repair to meet my dainty Davy. Meet me on the Warlock now, dainty Davy, dainty Davy, there I'll spend the day with you, my own dear dainty Davy. The crystal waters round us fall, the merry birds are lovers all, the scented breezes round us blow, a blessing when my day be. Meet me on the Warlock now, dainty Davy, dainty Davy, there I'll spend the day with you, my own dear dainty Davy.
so much. Thanks.
Peter Clark lived in Seaton Sluice for many years and was very active in local politics, and then developed an interest in creative arts. He now lives in Oxfordshire, but every year since becoming involved with this event, he has made the pilgrimage north to join us. Usually we just confound Peter doing his amazing poem about the Hartley tragedy. However, tonight, since we are allowing artists to perform their own selection and not bossing everybody about as usual, there's an opportunity to hear some of Peter's wider repertoire, although he's still firmly grounded in the Northumberland oral tradition. Peter.
Thank you very much, folks. Well, I have 3 poems which I want to offer to you. All of them are in the dialect of South Northumberland. Directing them in that direction will help us to understand how the working class existed at that time. The first of the poems is called Curry's Point. It was an awful bloody deed committed late one night, when Curry with a pistol gun glared Geordie off his feet. Down on the ground the body lay, its head all fractured in. Guilty, said the jury, you'll face the gibbet for this sin. The gibbet groaned but clank and clan, tempting 10 hands, below the orchestrated din the corpse's deathly dance. Were gaping gob and eyeless pits, the sight of all despair. The kindred body with blackened soul, need place for both but there. Hard blad the gale from Norway's fjords, o'er the grey North Sea, slicing its way with razor edge and curiosity. Clad spindrift clad base islands' roofs, routing for a while, now saturated Cumberland cliffs, then sprayed the gibbet's smile. Sharper was that curious gale for having passed that place, but only with a fleeting glance it viewed that gruesome face. Nae portrait bears the cost of sin, the face reveals his crime, ravaged beyond his deathly throes, remembered for all time. Soon under autumn's russet moon, then in her fading sun, Michael Curry disintegrates, close where the deed was done. But infamy has marked the brow, nae priest would dare anoint, for know where once the gibbet stood, is known as Curry's Point. And now getting to the bones of the matter, I offer to you the Hester Lament. Gan canny, me lad, gan canny, we'll never get yen nae mair, as black damping by nae way to the sky, and nae God above us to care. Our mothers have put their last shifts in, nae fresh air to nourish life's flames. At the end of the shift, I'll be nae welcome lift, just a world care with nae answered names. Bide close, dear father, wo Davy, like he did when he were Ben. Come take a rest with your head on my chest, God's reasons I all ken. Keep still, bonny lad, nae commotion, 'cause there's little or nought to be done. Try your best not to cry, as slowly we die, this day we'll see nae wintry sun. Keep still, there'll be nae stoleless neat to the harbour, nae lines will cast down the wall. For us there's nae use of high tide in the sluice, or the moon slanting o'er the how. Through the neat and the dean, the shrill cries will echo from rabbit and hare. Their cries will not cease, for there'll be nae release, when they want to loose off the snare. Your mother's heart will be breaking, she's had her last night of sleep. The tears in her eyes will cry till she dies, she may as weel bide worse neath the seep. In the pit yard the wives and the mothers, the vigils will stand in the snore. As the last hope depart, the pain in each heart will descend to their kin deep below. There's none but our loved ones to mourn us, this day they bear all of the loss. For in the bowels of the earth, a man's life isn't worth the shull of coal of his boss. You're asleep, bonny lad, never to waken. Soon I'll join in that final sleep, as I bide by her side, me sorrow and pride, all the last memories that I'll ever keep. Gan canny, me lad, gan canny, we'll never get yen nae mair, as black damping by, nae way to the sky, and nae God above us to care. Now the third of the poems stretches across 150 years and brings us into the present time. It is entitled Mebby. Bamrest stood Northern Rock on that wet abutment of smooth paved Northumberland Street. There she glinted in that golden glow of yesterday's investments. Now in the turbulence of Black Death's death she found us, doomed by the heed, already pensions awash, in interest with the tide. Like Bambra boards will departed gannets return to reclaim their nascent sites and again deposit their eggs for future fortune? Maybe. Now folks, I'd like to introduce you to a song called The Beggar Lassie. Well, the singers all ready?
Yeah.
I love a lassie. I love a lassie, a bonny beggar lassie. If you'd seen her, you would fancy her yourself. But me father doesn't like her because she comes from Baker and boozes in the old bluebell. On a Sunday morning, as the sun is dawning, she's dressed up and down upon the quay. And just like Betty Grable believes she is able to whisk me heart away from me. Oh, I love a lassie, a bonny beggar lassie. If you'd seen her, you would fancy her yourself. But me father doesn't like her because she comes from Baker and boozes in the old bluebell. Divn't listen to me mother, or me older brother. Like me father, they cannot see this gem. Their eyes will only darken when they see me truly walking down Wall Street to take yam. Oh, I love a lassie, a bonny beggar lassie. If you'd seen her, you would fancy her yourself. But me father doesn't like her because she comes from Baker and boozes in the old bluebell. Never will I tarry with this lass to marry. Together we'll trot up and down the aisle. Oh, me folks'll see me's grinning, nah, I'm winning. That lassie with a laugh and smile. Oh, I love a lassie, a bonny beggar lassie. If you'd seen her, you would fancy her yourself. But me father doesn't like her because she comes from Baker and boozes in the old bluebell. No grandbands all are coming from me Baker woman. Heartstrings they're tugging everywhere. Granny's bout a bigger table to feed them when she's able. There'll soon be 6 or even more. Oh, I love a lassie, a bonny Baker lassie. If you'd seen her, you would fancy her yourself. But me father doesn't like her because she comes from Baker and boozes in the old bluebell. She chooses where she boozes and boozes where she chooses. She boozes in the old bluebell.
Well done, Peter. Hey.